Hi, everybody. Good morning. Happy Sunday, March 14th, 2021. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, empowerment coach, and I'm here every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Lada's YouTube channel with Angels and Astrology. Good morning, small wildflowers. Welcome to the time change. I missed my hour. I will tell you. Good morning, J Deep. Good morning, Shelly. Good morning, Juan. I don't know how many people across the world. I know in the United States, most people, I don't think Arizona switches over, but most of us have a time change. Good morning, Posted Up. Good morning, Art Meets Crazy. So yeah, I'm telling you, that hour, the older I am, the more that hour is important to me. Good morning, Ethan from Wisconsin. I've been to Wisconsin. I've actually been to the Sun Prairie Corn Festival. It was quite fun. I loved Wisconsin. It's a beautiful state. Okay, so this week we have Mercury moving into Pisces. Why do I have that on there? Oh, I guess it's been in Aquarius. Okay. My notes. But more than anything, I want to say we're moving into Aries season. Good morning, Miko. And I really feel like while we're still going through some challenging dynamics worldwide, I feel like Aries season is really about moving our stories forward. And while I was getting ready this morning, I was listening to an old album, and I'm going to say it, album, Kenny Loggins' Leap of Faith album. And it's a love album. It's a album about when he was venturing into a new relationship based on what he believes is real love. So it's called, obviously, Leap of Faith. And I was thinking about our audience and about today's topic, and I felt like Spirit kept saying to me, how brave are we, us, me, and you, in our own dreams? And in such a way where they were saying, what prices are you willing to pay? And they didn't mean blood, sweat, tears, and agony. They meant standing in the unknown, holding space for a bigger picture and an inner knowing. How much can you sit in the dark and feel comfortable without having to see tangibly evidence of your dreams coming true? And I think this is really what I want to talk about when it comes to moving into Aries season, because Aries is, talking about taking action, moving forward, blunt, aggressive, warrior, all of these mundane things. But to me, Aries is really the truth seeker. It's like, what's behind your curtain? Let's get to the truth. And the truth is, am I truly faithful in my ability to live out my dreams? Because that's really where the rubber meets the road and where we take our actions. Sometimes we think we're strategizing or we're, moving the story forward. But if we look just a little bit deeper, we could be taking actions based on an unsureness that's fear-based. I don't think it's going to happen, so I'm going to push up against a little more so I can get physical evidence that whatever it is that I want is actually happening. So I kind of want to round it off this way. Mercury rules our thinking, our reading, our speaking, our emails, our everyday communications and interactions, and it's moving into Pisces. Pisces to me is like, how deep are you willing to go into your emotional body, into the waters of your emotional body, into the spiritual aspects of Neptune, and feel the depth of that inner knowing, feeling it root in so that the eyes don't come from the physical, but from the interior. Because I think this is where we're really going to stand in our light worker energy so that we can illuminate out for others the invitation to do the same. I have a lot of people in my tribe. We're going into springtime here in the Western Hemisphere, and a lot of my people that I was seeing this week are very much invested in meeting the loves of their lives, meeting their partners and wanting to be seen at a level that isn't just about, how does, do you make enough money to make sure I don't have to blah, blah, blah. And do you do enough of this? So, but really wanting to be seen on that interior level. So I feel like I want to just pose to the tribe this week, what price are you willing to pay emotionally to believe that your dream is coming true? Are you willing to sit in this moment of saying, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm some odd years old. I'm decades years old, and I still never experienced it. And yet, somewhere there's a knocking on an interior door saying, it's coming. It's coming, and it's coming exactly when you're ready for it. So that's where I'm going with this. I really feel like it has to do with love. This whole Pisces season and Venus and Neptune meeting with the new moon yesterday just felt very much like it's about lifting the rug on where we've been deceiving ourselves in our fear, pretending we believe in it instead of really believing in it. I hope I'm being clear, because if I'm not being clear, I want to say, how much do you believe that love is on the docket for you? How much do you believe? Intimate love, friendship love, family love, work appreciation. Pardon me for hitting the table with my rose quartz, because I really think that this is a time to open that up in your heart so that spirit can bring it into your physical experience, so that you can stand in a way that lights for others the possibilities, if we only line up to the deeper truth of what our soul knows, not our physical ego. Okay, that's what I got to say for today. One, I'm so glad to hear you're feeling better and you have no physical discomfort. That's awesome. And I hope that small wildflowers, I hope everything has been better for you this week. You got an angel on the other side now. Yep, that's me, Intergalactic Freedom Keeper. I'm preaching it. And I'll tell you, because I really feel like Spirit has shown me this dynamic where many people will experience their dreams, their desires at an age that is unexpected, or an age that may feel like, a lot of times we look at our marketing and how we view youth as being so, I don't even know what word I want to use. And I feel like we're rewriting that story so that youth doesn't come from years. It comes from the vitality within the energetic body. Because I think that people that are happy and people that, have a zest for life, they actually emote a young energy. So that's where I'm going with this. And if you are in a relationship and you think, oh, I've been with this person for decades, this thing ain't changing, I want you to start to think about that story you're telling yourself, that this isn't changing, is part of your co-creation in the situation. So if you give life to the idea, well, maybe it's changing, maybe it's not changing, all I'm going to worry about is how I show up, because I'm going to set the tone. So I think love is on the docket. I think, for lack of a better term, spring is in the air. I think that love comes from, yes, the interaction of humans, but also the love of our passions, the love of our life, the moving forward, the feeling of opening up. It's almost as if this last year of contraction, of almost like the Hermit card in the tarot of reflection, has offered us an opportunity to now take our Aries steps forward in this new zodiacal year to really grab onto how we want to live our lives. And I know for me personally, I have discovered that freedom is more important than money for me. The freedom to pick and choose when and what I do. So that's where I'm going. All right, we're going to start in our readings right now. Welcome, Anna Sela. All right, so for those of you that are new to the tribe, which I'm not sure there's too many today so far, but I go backwards. I start at Pisces and work my way towards Aries. I started this, a long time ago now, and I don't know, my Libra sun says, let's just keep it up for the balance of it. So we're going to do that and see what Spirit has to say for traversing the transits for this week. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Kate. I know the time change throwing people off. Exactly. I was expecting that. So there's only a few things. I know we had our new moon yesterday, and astrologically, what I put on my calendar is we've got Mercury moving into Pisces tomorrow in the United States, which makes me kind of, in some ways, think that my thoughts are going to turn dreamy and that I'm going to start, being musing about more romantic and Venusian things for some reason. I want to say that because I feel like, between the new moon and Venus and Neptune meeting together, there's this feeling of romance in the air for me. And even if there's been no romance in the world, I feel like it's about feeling it within. So it almost becomes like a magnet. So that's happening this week. And then on Saturday, the sun moves into Aries, and we have our spring equinox, I believe is that day. Where's my little? Yeah, on the 20th. So we're good to go there. All right. I feel more optimistic as well this weekend. Good morning. I should say good evening, Sini Kivi from Finland. All right, here we go. Yes, Stephen. Love is in the air. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da. There I go singing again. Okay, here we go. Aries. Oh, we're starting with Pisces. So what I do, for those of you, again, that are unfamiliar with my show, I go rising, moon, sun, and stelliums, because I've been shown by Spirit, if you have 4 or more planets, and I'm using the more strict dynamic, a lot of people say 3 or more planets, in one sign or house, it indicates a focus in your chart and something that your soul has agreed to address in this life. Welcome, Hyatt from Kuwait. Good to see everybody. Good morning, Edith from Chicago. All right, here we go, Pisces. Hi, Margie. Good afternoon. Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Hi, Emma. Welcome. All right, our first angel for Pisces is Ray. The second is Merlina. The third is Athena. And the final is Yvonne. Yes, Patrick, 4 planets in conjunct in one sign or one house is a stellium. Patrick, we have another one of our tribe members who has a Virgo stellium. We also have a tribe member that has a funny story if he wants to tell it. Ha ha. Whoops. Okay, Pisces, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Yes, I would say the sun and the moon are absolutely counted in a stellium, Melissa. Okay, here we go. Ray is being joined in the foundational position by the dragon. Merlina is being joined by the love card. Athena is being joined by the forgiveness card. And Yvonne is being joined by the fire fairy. Okay, Aries. In our foundational position, the dragon represents power and strength, but it is never about pushing the power forward. It's never about physical overpowering. If we look closely at this dragon, she's very calm. I always think of it as a she. And it's interesting to me because this in the background very much, can you guys see my candle holder with the selenium right there, or the selenite? I'm sorry. This looks like a selenite castle to me. And all of a sudden I'm seeing this sort of as if she's calm and cool because of her connection to spirit. And I want to offer it this way, because I very much don't know why I'm going here, but I am going with love is in the air. And I think love is an invitation, not something that we fall into or something that we trip over, but rather saying, yay, spirit, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good and I'm ready to invite in love. And again, I want to open it up. Love of friends, love of an intimate partner, love of family, love of community. Really open it up, because This connection, Ray to me is very much a connection to spirit, sitting in a meditative position, feeling my power chakra as it calmly, as the dragon indicates, and then speaking to spirit from my heart. And I want to offer it this way because I think many of us have not truly been ready to receive the partner we want or to be the partner we want to be. And now the timing is right. Whatever the dynamics that happened over the last couple of years, some of you may have broken up with in relationships, but in doing so, you've learned or you've experienced something where I appreciate this quality in someone. This is what's really important to me versus what that used to be. Because Pisces, in the opportunity of the obstacle is the love card and Merlina. And Merlina says that you're confused and indecisive because you don't have enough information. And I think that information is that Pisces has never really asserted yourself in your love life in that way of that truly receiving. In the true, when I think about Pisces and I think about Neptune, I can't help but think about water. And whatever you put water in takes the shape of that vessel. So if I put it in a thimble, it takes the shape of the thimble. If I put it in a carafe, it takes the shape of a carafe. So now what I think is that Pisces, this is about you shaping your love from the interior out, from this power and strength, because in the angel's advice is Athena. And Athena is echoing the dragon. It's echoing that it's okay for you to lovingly assert yourself towards what you want. And the forgiveness card is about the understanding and the wisdom that comes on the backside of an experience. So here it is. You're asserting yourself in a very determined way. Like, I'm not taking in yes or no for an answer. And I am willing to stand in the unknowing, uncomfortable place of, will it happen or won't it happen? I'm putting you in charge of it, but I'm expecting it to happen. Because in the final position is Yvonne, the angel of vulnerability, and the fire fairy. And we're going into Aries season. This is about optimism. This is about positive thinking. It's about the impetus of an idea. It's about the spark of an idea. So this is what I want to say. Because as Pisces says, I'm ready to experience a more exciting and loving dynamic within my human journey. I don't even want to put it in one place. I want to open it up. And as you open it up and you stand assertively in that space of unknowing, okay, I haven't experienced it before, doesn't mean it can't happen. And I want to offer this to you because a lot of my clients, I'm thinking of one in particular who sat here about a week ago saying, I don't see how it'll happen, Teri. I can't see what you're saying. There's no road for me to see it. And I said, you don't have to see it because you will soon experience it. This is the challenge, is to sit in the I can't see it. Because a week later, she was sending me texts going, oh my goodness, this happened. And oh my goodness, this opened up. And oh my goodness, I have this opportunity. And I'm like, that's where spirit's opening the doors. And you're calm, receptive. Ray is calm and receptive. Athena is open in her power. She's open in the fact that I know it's happening. My job is not to worry about the timing because that's a human stopping point. My alignment to the experience will draw it in very quickly. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses. Intergalactic Freedom Keeper. I want to offer this about Virgo, and I might bring it up again when I talk about Virgo, but I've been doing a lot of talking to Spirit about some of these labels that we've been putting on these signs and the challenging. Virgo, is dependable and practical, which is awesome on some level, but also can be critical and because they're the perfectionist, right? But what Spirit showed me is really Virgo's about the purity of the journey. The purity of the perfection of imperfection. I hope that made sense because it is in the purity of the imperfection that we find our power to achieve perfection. Makes perfect sense to my Mercury conjunct Neptune in the 8th house of Scorpio. Here we go, Aquarius. Okay, so I go backwards, you guys, just to remember I'm on my second sign. I'm on Aquarius, and I'm working my way towards Aries. Here we go. Oh, Elizabeth Rigby, you're ready to move forward. Mars and Aries. That's a great place. The Lord of the ruler of the Aries being in Aries. Okay, here we go. For Aquarius, we have Francesca in the foundational position. We have Yvonne in the opportunity and or the obstacle. We have Akasha in the angel's advice, and we have Crystal in the potential outcome. You bet, Elizabeth, full speed ahead. And we start that speed with our being energy. What do I believe about this as I take my actions? All right, here we go. Aquarius, Francesca is being joined by the goblin. Yvonne is being joined by the dog. Akasha is being joined by the frog. And the novice is being joined, or Crystal's being joined by the novice. Okay, so hi, Keegan. Good to see you. Hi, Milan. All right, Aquarius, I want to offer this to you. I really don't know why I'm going here, but I feel like love is in the air. This morning, I was listening to Kenny Loggins' Leap of Faith album. It just felt like there's this whole beginning of moving the story forward and I want to offer this love in the air thing. Yes, love of another human, but also the loving of our lives, the loving of our actions, the loving of our endeavors. You know, it's really rewriting, because I want to say this for Aquarius. Francesca is saying, what do you visualize right now? What do you visualize right now? And it will come about. Negativity will block your progress. And this is where I'm going with the ego. I don't think this is as spooky as it may look initially for Aquarius, as much as it's kind of in the theme of, are you going to believe it with your eyes, or are you going to believe it with your heart? Because right now your eyes aren't going to see what you're looking for. The evidence will come as your heart opens up to receive the evidence. Because I'm going to tell you, have you guys ever lost anything like in your house and you're like, I just had that in my hand. And the more you try looking for it, you can't find it. You're like, I looked in that same spot 12 times. The other day I was walking out of the house, and before I did, I took my ATM card and I stuck it up on this little shelf. And then I went and got the dog, and I was ready, and I put my hand up to grab it. It was gone. I spent 20 minutes looking for it, and it was right where I put it. But I was so busy focused on that. Where is it? Where is it? That I couldn't see it. And I had to find myself, breathe for a second and say, okay, feel where it is from here. And I went right up and touched it. And I thought, you're so silly. Look at that resistant energy. So this is where I'm going. You've been having resistant energy. You've been saying, I got to see it. And Spirit's saying, you got to feel it. You got to feel it in, because it's time to be vulnerable, Aquarius. Vulnerable. That's what Yvonne is. To me, it talks about, if you buy this deck of cards, she talks about animals. It has nothing to do with that for me. My animals, I never had children, have always been my vulnerability, because I love them like they're my children. So here is vulnerability to love. And I want to offer this for Aquarius, because Akasha in the angel's advice is the teacher. And I think this is about you learning how vulnerable you need to be. And that vulnerability doesn't come from somebody else. I'm not vulnerable to somebody else. I'm vulnerable to the dynamic between what my eyes are seeing, scientific Aquarius, where's the data, and what my heart is feeling. And this is very interesting to me, because Aquarius rules science in some ways, but it also rules my hopes and my desires. So it's time to liberate yourself, Aquarius, Uranus ruled, into a place that my vulnerability isn't truly vulnerable, like I'm in danger. The vulnerability is here to teach me how to leap off of a pad that doesn't work for me. And in doing so, cleaning up my emotional house, because you're about to start on a new beginning as we endeavor into Aries season. Crystal says, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And the novice is saying, this is an unstable new beginning in the sense of there's nothing solid for you to stand on. So instead of looking for the road to be solid, you've got to trust your heart and your intuition to lead you to the solid parts of the road to step on as you move forward. This is very exciting, actually, because I want to say it this way. To me, there is a weird dynamic between this idea of, okay, so I think of Aquarius as sort of, scientific in the sense of technology, innovation, moving the story forward, doing things different than they've been done before. So what if you play this little game with yourself and really kind of say, all right, here we go. This is my eyes and this is my heart. And I'm going to see where I'm standing. What am I experiencing when I'm in each energy? And as you do that, I think the unknown will become more solid. The unknown will become more solid because it's about your intention and about your alignment, and then about the law of allowing. Oh, my goodness. All right. I hope that made sense. All of it always makes sense to me, but then it's coming out of my brain. I don't know if it's coming out of my brain, actually. I think it's coming from spirit and out of my mouth. But they've been talking to me about it for so long that it makes sense to me. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. I don't know what crypto means. I mean, I know what it does. Is it like kryptonite, like Superman? But I want to offer this because you know what resistance is to me? Resistance is not being able to see the answer. If I can't see the answer, then it connects me into a doubt. Oh, cryptocurrency. Okay. The law of allowing, Stephen, is part 2. First you ask and receive. Okay, you ask, and contrast comes into play to help delineate what truly is important to you and then what isn't important to you. And then as we go into the law of allowing, which I think is really where people get tripped up, because when they start to allow, they say, how will I see that allowing? Where is that check? How will I make more money than my paycheck? And you don't know that. You could be walking down the street and find a lottery ticket. Or you could find $60 or less. Or someone could be inspired to do something for you that you didn't anticipate. All right, here we're going on to our Capricorns, my goats, my baby goats. Patrick, I want to offer this about that Virgo stellium, because again, Virgo is a sign of service. It's a sign of taking my skills and bringing them into service of others. And out of balance, we could enslave ourselves. We could use skills that we don't enjoy and bring those to the table and then feel a sense of obligation to continue them. And this is where I think the purity of the journey comes. This is how I feel like Virgo's being rewritten. Because when I look at the purity of the journey, it's like a child. It allows me to make mistakes. It allows me to fall down, because when I get up, I'm going to feel empowered. So sometimes with that Virgo stellium, there's this underlying energies that says you're not allowed to make a mistake. That's not true. That's the illusion. All right, here we go. Capricorn, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. I know, I have a friend who has a stellium in Capricorn and is an Aquarius sun. Poor guy has a lot of trouble between pulling back and moving forward. Okay, here we go. Capricorn, our first angel is Desiree. The second is Vanessa. The third is Grace and Antoinette. And the final is Chantal. I don't know why I feel so much love in the air right now. I ain't got no love. Well, I do. That's not true. You guys show me love. My dog. Love him more than anything. His birthday's this week, by the way, you guys, on Friday. Lucky will be 9 years old on the 19th. Patrick, I want to offer this because I blame my parents sometimes too. I'm still a little bit of an Aries rising angry child, but I also believe wholeheartedly I picked those parents from a soul's perspective. And so now I got to revisit the whole idea of blame, and if blame is even necessary. I don't know. My dad would say, yeah, quit blaming me. I can hear him from the other side say, you're always blaming me for crap. Okay, here we go. Capricorn, Desiree is being joined by the fire fairy. Vanessa is being joined by the dog. Love is in the air. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. And Chantal is being joined by the partnership card. Okay, Capricorn. I got to tell you, for a sign that is ruled by Saturn and gets so much, honestly, crap for being a little bit difficult, I love Capricorn. Every man I've ever fallen in love with was a Capricorn. I didn't study astrology back then, but they all have late December, January birthdays. And I want to offer it this way because I really believe that Capricorn has been going through this. I mean, we obviously know there's been a lot of transiting planets in going through Capricorn that have moved out. And I think now is the time to start to really grab on to the idea of there's a new sheriff in town, for lack of a better term, because up until now, conditions have not been favorable. I feel like there is this dynamic where Capricorn has been trying to hold on to the old, but really wants to break free into the new. And that's where the fire fairy comes in, because it's the spark of creativity. It's not having to implement it. So up until now, maybe things haven't been so favorable for you in love. And I want to say it this way, not because you aren't deserving of love, but I believe that you have been transforming. Your own being energy has been transforming. And where you may have inadvertently thought, well, this is how love goes. You do this and I do that. And all of this is sort of being rewritten because in our opportunity or our obstacle, and I want to offer it this way, because if you have experienced love and it's not in balance, there is a possibility for balance. And if you have not experienced love yet, then you get to really go with the idea that, oh boy, I had to kind of go through that transit. I had to sort of say, hey, everybody, I got to transform who I am before I can actually experience and live what it is that I want. So here's the faith card and here's the dog. And I feel like this is part of what you've been going through, is starting to believe in love from a different place. And when I go to the angel's advice, there's the compassion card and the truth card. So here's where I'm going with Capricorn. I feel like this shift has been about blurring the lines of the rules in the way that where Capricorn may have followed the rules stoically and diligently without actually determining whether the rules were working for them. And I feel like those rules may have been how you perceive what love is, how it works. Because I want to offer it this way. Most people say, oh, I fall in love with you. I have to see you and talk to you every single day. You have to text me before you go to bed, and you have to text me in the morning. And, some people just don't like that. So, maybe we're rewriting the rules. I really think that's what it is. And part of Capricorn's opportunity as we move into Aries season, as Mercury moves into Pisces, look deeper into your thought process. Do I have faith that I can be loved by my rules and how I want it, that someone would align up with that? Because the angels are saying, have compassion as your truth reveals itself. As the truth of what you truly want comes up through a bit of an emotional storm, because you're breaking the rules that have been given to you, and you're starting to write the rules that are more authentic to you. Because I believe that the possibility of love is coming for Capricorn. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And I want to offer it this way, because this love now feels like it's based on something more balanced. And I want to put it this way. If, I'm going to use old fashioned genders, because I'm just going to kind of do it that way. So man provides, woman is the home. These are very old fashioned type dynamics. I say it because I feel like now Capricorn may say, I don't need to be the one that's the primary breadwinner. I can allow my partner to bring in as much money. And we're rewriting the rules. We're shifting the roles to be more applicable to how we want to feel in the relationship versus what is expected of us outside of the relationship. And I feel like pardon me for coughing, that Capricorn is starting to evolve into a place that is looking at their heart and saying, I think this is important. I think my heart feeling good is just as important as me making the outside world feel good, because maybe when I feel good, then I'm opening up so that others can. Because I really feel like, I'm going to say it now, Capricorn, I feel like love is coming for you, and it's your job to be open to receiving and to realize that up until now, you weren't. All right, let's go on to our Sagittariuses. If anybody wants to get a private reading with me, you can go to Lotta's website, and I'm under the readers menu. You just click on the link and order your reading, and I usually get to people within a week or so. Okay, let's go into our Sagittariuses. I almost feel like it's Valentine's Day today. I don't even know why. I can't wait for Spirit to show me why I feel like this. Welcome, Margie. Hi, Karen Wise. Did I miss anybody I wanted to say hi to? Tahara, I think that is. Happy birthday. Chanel, nice to see you. All right, here we go. I was playing around the other day with my dog's chart. I know his birthday. And I found that he has Jupiter and Venus in Taurus. And I just started to laugh because I'm like, he's such a food hound. It's just a riot. Okay. Yes, Venus is very much at home in Pisces. It's her best friend's house. She loves hanging out in there. She's going to be moving into Aries on a week from today. So she's got about one more week in there. All right, here we go. Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Indriel. The second is Crystal. The third is Akasha. And the final is Archangel Uriel. Yes, Stephen, absolutely. She's exalted. She's happy. She's partying. She's wearing her best outfit. She's got her lashes on, her high heels on. She's like, girl, we're going out. We're going to have fun tonight. Funny, when I said that, I saw some Virgo energy saying, I'll be your designated driver. Hey, Uncle Dan, welcome. Happy St. Patty's Day to you too. All right, here we go. Sagittarius, Indriel is being joined by the ego. Crystal's being joined by the romance card, the Grail Knight. Akasha's being joined by the movement card. And the Lady of the Lake is joining Archangel Uriel. Okay, Sagittarius, this is where I'm going with this. Oh, Llama, very exciting that you have a stellium in Sagittarius and such luscious little planets. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, so Indriel is the light worker card. And I want to offer it this way because I believe we are all light beings. I don't in any way think anybody is not, even people who don't know it and people who may be considered dark energies, because we're all serving a purpose. But for Sagittarius, I believe there's epiphanies coming. I keep seeing Indriel with that light around her crown that is saying to me that there is something coming that is going to be this epiphany that feels almost rooted. Like all of a sudden when it hits you, it's like, of course. And when that happens, it changes everything, because this is the ego, the connection to the angelic realm. And Sagittarius represents the connection to the angelic realm. It represents foreign ideas and foreign things and foreign people. And in some respects, this is a foreign type of communication. Because what I think has happened is, I'm harping a little bit on intimate love, on love in general, loving of life, loving of the actions I'm taking, rather than being on the hamster wheel of my life. Oh, I got to run here. Oh, I got to run there. It's about this choice. Because again, here in the opportunity, the obstacle, I have the Grail Knight. This is about romance, but it's also about removing illusions. And yesterday we had Venus and Neptune exact on the new moon. So there's been an opportunity to remove the illusion. And the illusion may be that love isn't coming, or that you have to work hard, or you have to deserve something, or you have to be a certain type of person. I don't think that's true. I think it's more about every lock has its key. Every salt has its pepper. Every peanut butter has its jelly. So just start to focus in on that, because now it's time to start to be the faithful energy that you are, because there's something coming and it could not have come any sooner. And I say that because when we are endeavoring to experience something, we are co-creating. We are not creating in a vacuum. So on some level, we have to give the idea that I do my creation part, and then the universe supports whatever else has to come into play, the other complementary components. Because what I think is you have something to learn about how the movement takes place, that there is a part of you that must see with your heart and not with your eyes. And all of a sudden, here I see this big sun up here, okay? And this goes right back to Indriel. There's an epiphany coming for you. And it's almost this epiphany that I almost feel like it's this, like, how can I describe it? There's an amount of work that we do that serves us, and then we overwork, and that becomes out of balance. That becomes the resistant energy. So to me, I feel like for Sagittarius, as you connect to the angelic realm and you have this epiphany that maybe I've done everything that I can do to be prepared for the next chapter. And part of my job is not to continue to push forward to the chapter, but invite the chapter in and be ready to receive. Because in the final position, I have Archangel Uriel. And I want to say this feels like frustration to me. It doesn't feel like anger. It doesn't feel like unforgiveness. It feels like frustration with going through this emotional storm that we've been going through. And if you think about the idea that Sagittarius rules travel, and you've not been able to travel, you've not been able to explore the way you normally want to. But I think this really has more to do with the exploration in love, within opportunities of love, within this being able, and I just got chills everywhere, is being able to move forward in what I, Sagittarius, love. So when I start to say, okay, maybe this frustration has something to teach me. Maybe this frustration is me realizing that I'm part of the block. I need to take the frustration off and realize that in some ways spirit is shepherding this new beginning, shepherding this new dynamic. And my job is to sit in preparation and be ready for it. All right, let's go on to our Scorpios. When I first started working from home, it was an experience I'd never had before. I never had truly thought that my services would be something that could support me. And I remember talking very fearfully to spirit. I need experiences in the 3D world to support my belief. I would say to them, I'm trying to just sit out here in the ethernet of nowhereness and believe, but it's very, very difficult for me. So thank you, Spirit, for bringing me a tangible human experience to anchor that in. And then they started to do it. And how it worked was like this. I felt suddenly like I grew up in an era when they used to have these big premieres on Hollywood Boulevard, and they'd put these lights up and you'd see them from all over LA. You'd see them kind of swirling around. So I was inspired during my meditation to put up this beam and to think of it as I put up the beam that people all over would see it and say, what's happening over there? I want to be over there and come my direction. I want to offer all the audience today, if indeed anything that you want, that you love, I want you to put your beam up. And instead of going to try to seek it out, I want you to think as you put your beam up that you're bringing it to you. Whatever that component is. That person that needs you for that job. I see you over there. And then Spirit will start to infuse this experience that will then give you the strength to say, I can sit a little bit in this unknown. And you start to build this muscle. And I swear to you guys, it works. The universe is like, honestly, not all that. I want to use the word magical, and yet it is magical, because when we can sit in true alignment, things happen like this. There's no real time element. It is the human that creates this lag. Okay, here we go. Dan, I missed the whole, I don't know if I missed something. I don't know what the black and gray TV is, but I did come from a time when TV was black and white. And then it went to color very quickly. All right, here we go. On to our Scorpios. I remember when the TV used to go off at night and there was all the snow, and then there would be like the countdown, and then they would have that profile of that Indian chief that would sit all night long. It's why I cannot fall asleep in front of the TV to this day, because my sister, my mom, and I shared a room, and if the TV was on, my mom would there was no remote control back then. So my mom was like, Teri, you make sure the TV, turn off the TV. And my mom would fall asleep. And so if I fell asleep and she woke up and that Indian guy and that snow was on, she would get so pissed off. All right, on to Scorpio. Some of my weird stories. Okay. First angel is Archangel Uriel. The second is Aurora. The third is Bridget. And the final is Francesca. Keegan, you have Pluto and Scorpio in the 8th house. That's the ruler of Scorpio in its natural home. That's good. I mean, I guess everything's good. Post it up. We're going to send you some love. Oh, 10th house. Okay, got it. All right, Scorpio. Joining Archangel Uriel is the Perception card. Joining Aurora is the Wasp. Joining Bridget is the Protection card. And joining Francesca is the Restriction card. Okay, so this is like a little challenging. I'm not going to say it's not. And I want to offer it this way. You know, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. And Pluto, I said it last week, and somebody made a comment that I kind of over-exaggerated the size of the heart in the on the surface of the planet. It's about 600 miles. It's a small planet, but it has this huge heart, Pluto, that you can see from space. And it's not just like the outline. It's like this white heart. And then you see the rest of the darker of the planet. And why I'm bringing this up is because I think that it's time for Scorpio to surrender to their depth, to surrender to that you hear, you see, and you feel things that are not on the surface. Because I think that there's a part of you that has been frustrated with other people not understanding what you see. And I think that that might be challenging, but I think that can be alleviated if you acknowledged it, because you're special that way. And I don't know that everybody else can see it. So here we have Archangel Uriel talking about frustration and anger. And then we have the perception card. So when I look at this, I feel like this is in some ways, because the wings on Archangel Uriel, this white right here, is just so much playing to the idea of that white heart inside the planet of Pluto. This teeny little planet that they tried to make a dwarf planet that wouldn't. It says, no, I'm bigger than that, because I think Pluto represents the truth of our heart. I think sometimes the reason Pluto seems so challenging is because we lie to ourselves. We look with our eyes at what we think we're capable of, what we think we can, achieve. And I don't know if that's true. I feel like we need to look deeper, because Aurora says you're flying high right now. Don't descend. That may soon that you're breaking a box of thought, and others may be threatened. And in some ways, this feels stingy to you. Now, this is what I want to say, because Scorpio may see things that other people don't want to acknowledge, And I feel like it's really a little bit more about you starting to take your own intuition start driving your own intuition, really thinking about how, because it may seem very natural to you, Scorpio, and you may think everybody sees what you see, but I don't think that's true. And you kind of got to own that a little bit so that you can then use your powers more influentially, because Bridget is saying to look deeper into a situation, and there's the protection card. And what I think it is that when you understand your intuitions, you won't be so upset about how it lands on other people. If you think about the idea of, let's say, a Scorpio woman and a Libra man, or a Capricorn man, someone who's very logical. And so here's the Scorpio talking about all these deep feelings and the more logical dynamics of, let's say, that Libra man would be like, well, that doesn't make sense. This is logical and that's logical. And you as a Scorpio may be like, so frustrated because the other side isn't getting it. I hope this is making sense, because it's a huge metaphor. I feel like surrendering to the other side. You know what? If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's okay. I'm going to settle in and trust these things that I feel underneath, because I feel like when I look at the final position, Francesca's saying, what do you visualize now? And then there's the restriction card. So there's this big challenge for Scorpio to trust their perceptions more than they trust what they're hearing in the outside world. And part of that trusting of your perceptions is to look deeper even into your own perception. Is my perception based on I always lose? I always lose, I always lose, I always lose. He doesn't love me, she doesn't love me, I have no money, they have no money, I'll never make no money. Because I feel like there's something different. And I feel like there's this opportunity for Scorpio to break out of some sort of restrictive bubble that has caused you not to understand how powerful you are. And that power comes from that deeper Platonian energy. I can't, I almost feel like as you practice it in a way that it's almost as if you have an inner knowing, and then rather than trying to go to the human to be validated, you go to spirit and you say, you know what, if this is really my inner knowing is true, then give me some sort of sign about that. And then you get the sign. And that's how we build the inner knowing, because the inner knowing will then make you more patient with the other people that are trying to fool you, because they're not trying to fool you, they're trying to protect themselves. That's the only way to put it. Okay, Scorpio, time to own your own intuitions. Time to nurture them in a healthy way, rather than having them just yell at you when you feel danger. That's how it feels. Okay, let's go on to our Libras. All right, here we go. Libra, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, Dov, that's a huge stellium in Libra. Okay. All right, Libra, our first angel is Caressa. The second is Isabella. The third is Crystal. And the final is Rosetta. Dov, you're so funny. You can leave the nightmare part off and just go, I'm gracious. All right. Caressa is being joined by the Earth Fairy Libra. Isabella's being joined by the cow. Crystal's being joined by the dragon. And Rosetta's being joined by the frog. You know, it's interesting as I look at this because I'm not of childbearing years, as we all know. 61 years young over here. But when I look at this, I feel like we're addressing some of our Libras of childbearing years. But before I go there, I'm just going to go to Libra in general, because there is a, Caressa says you're at the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you. And then I have the Earth Fairy, which very much feels like I'm going to start to walk on new ground. I'm going to start to endeavor in a new chapter of my life. And it is time for this new chapter. It's time for this to feel more supported by the universe and by the physical experience. As we feel some abundance, we feel more of a flow. And this is something that I think, again, when we listen to the astrologers, March is really ushering in a time of starting to move forward again. We'll see this progress. Yes, we've got Saturn and Uranus making themselves known this year, but it's rewriting our foundation and our structure, because for Libra, Crystal is saying there's more on the horizon that you can't see, and your job is to sit in balance. Your job is to trust that you are receiving, because for those that are not of childbearing years, I believe there's more vitality to the life experience that's coming. And in doing so, this sets an example not only for yourself, but for others. This frog doesn't even feel like emotional cleanup to me. It feels like good luck. You know, when you go into many Asian restaurants or other businesses, you'll see frogs with money, a little gold coin, and it's for good luck. So I feel like this is a chapter where Libra is really moving from what might have felt like stagnation into a feeling of moving the story forward and into receiving more signs, omens, and I want to say clues that things are progressing. Now I'm going to go to my Libras of childbearing years, and I'm going to enjoy men as well. This isn't just for women. I feel like there's very strong possibility that the dynamics of wanting to have a child are coming into play for you. And I want to offer it this way, because if indeed you've been trying to start a family and you've had challenges, I want you to imagine what it would be like to be a soul that incarnated with Pluto conjunct Saturn, conjunct Jupiter, conjunct Mars, squaring this, squaring that. Okay. So, because now I think a lot of children are going to want to start to incarnate. And I say children, but I really think of them as souls, because as we see, I'm so all over the place. As Jupiter and Saturn moved into Aquarius, it started a 200-year cycle of these planets meeting in air signs. We are going to go through another transformation akin to the Industrial Revolution. And as man progresses, I believe that the souls incarnating now want to take advantage of that dynamic. So if you've been challenged, it's because you think you're bringing children into this world when you are a vessel for a soul's evolution. And as you start to invite children in, I believe you'll start to see some traction moving forward. And crazy as this may sound, if indeed you have been contemplating any sort of interventions in your process of procreation, give it a minute. Give it a minute and just do the old-fashioned way. Go have a good time, laugh a lot, and come home and have relations. See what happens. Because I do think that it's time. So, there you go. Thank you, Keegan. And I love that idea of family planning, because what you're doing is you're inviting the soul in. When I found out that I picked my parents, I have to tell you, I fell to my knees in tears and I wanted to punch somebody in the face. I did. That was my Aries rising. But as I've grown and I've embraced my human journey, I realized that my parents were the impetus for many, many things that brought me to where I am today. And while I don't want to go back them and pat them on the back for the contrasting experiences they offered me, I do know that these children are picking you for your strengths and your weaknesses, for the landscape that you're shepherding them through this lifetime will offer them. Okay? So trust that and invite them in. And let's go on. Bring on the grandbabies, Karen. You bet. Grandbabies are the best, right? Because you can love on them and then you can give them back for the discipline. All right, here we go. Squares are good things. I agree, Stephen. I think that they may appear challenging in the beginning, but they remind me of a warrior pose lately, because it's through, and that's an opposition as well, but it's through this tension, this pushing out, that we have our balance. So you bet one. You got that equation perfect. Whoops. All right, let's go on to our Virgos, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I really want to hit home the idea of the purity of imperfection, the incredible gifts and the juiciness of imperfection. Because when you know what you don't want, then you know what you do want. The challenge sometimes with being mercurial is when you know what you don't want, rather than focusing in on what you do want, we can tend to say, oh God, I don't want that. Oh God, I don't want that. Oh God, not again. Here we go. Ariel, new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself and others. Francesca is asking you where your focus is. Indriel is offering an epiphany. And Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right. For those of you that are new to my show, I believe that the birth chart is the soul's intention for this planet, meaning its intention for this experience. It's like a syllabus. I'm going to go to college and I'm going to take this class and this class and this class because I want to get this degree at the end of the journey. And oftentimes we start that journey and we go, oh, drop this class, drop that class. Otherwise, I won't really be as successful as I want. So this is why I believe that the universe offers us multiple opportunities to experience and get it right. Hey, Tebow, welcome. Good to see you. Ariel's being joined by the horse for my Virgos. Francesca's being joined by the love card. Indriel's being joined by the perception card. And Isabella's being joined by the wind fairy. Very interesting. So here we are talking about Virgo, and Virgo's journey of imperfection is perfection. It is the purity. So here Ariel is saying new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself and the world. And there's the horse. And I feel like this is about going in a new direction. And if you look, the horse is actually running towards Ariel. And for me, when I look at the horse at the hooves, I see a purple hue. which very much plays to my third eye. So I think that this is an opportunity for Virgo as we endeavor into the Aries season, a new year, a new chapter, a new cycle, that I believe that Virgo is starting to journey more towards the idea that there is a wisdom here beyond what may appear to be negative. Because here's the love card in Francesca. Francesca says, what are you visualizing? I don't think that this for Virgo is about intimate love. It's just about loving the journey of life in many ways, rather than looking on what's being dependent. What am I enslaved to? The sixth house represents slavery. We think of it in modern times as our jobs, our work environment. But many of us do not enjoy our work environment. We feel a slave to it because we need it to pay our bills. So now Spirit is offering Virgo the opportunity to see the imperfection as perfection as you see where your focus has been taking you on this ride. Because Indriel, the light worker, is offering you an epiphany about your own perceptions. Is it your own perception that has entrapped you in this dynamic? This is what, when I was started my career, my parents are both, my dad and my stepmother, my dad's crossed over, but they both had jobs, I literally two jobs their whole lives. I mean, they stuck to things in ways. And I had many, many jobs. And in the beginning, I would devote myself as if, the world would rise and set on my work ethic. And then I realized that people didn't care about me. I was there to do a job, and they didn't care who did the job as long as it got done. And the reason I'm saying this is because I started to stop focusing in on whether somebody was happy with what I was doing and started focusing in on whether I was happy with what I was doing. And that's where I'm going with this, Virgo. Are you happy with the work that you are purporting in the world? Are you enjoying it? Because I believe it's time for you to analyze whether or not you're enjoying things, because it is time for you in some ways to give life and start thinking about moving in a direction that's more authentic to the truth of who you are. And the truth of who you are doesn't mean that you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because if you do enjoy the dependability of certain things, that's okay. And then capitalizing on that, building on that, allowing there to be more options for you. That's the way I want to put it. It's I feel a little bit like Virgo may have inadvertently been perceiving obligation. You need me to do this. I'm expected to do that. This is how I've always been. I remember thinking to myself, they used to give out awards to people. Like if you worked for a company and you were never late or you never called in sick, maybe after 25 years, you'd get a watch. And I would think to myself, geez, in 25 years, you never called in sick? Oh my goodness, man, I could never do that. I call in sick just because my mental health is off one day. So to me, this is just very much more about Virgo having an epiphany that as I move towards what works for me from a place of joy, from a place of what do I love? What makes me feel vital? Why do I enjoy this physical journey? Because now I think it's time to analyze that. I think it's time to reflect on it and then allow yourself the privilege of connecting with spirit so that they can start to open a door which will inspire the steps to move towards that. All right, let's go on to our Leos. Keegan, I don't know if you need to ask for what you deserve, and as much as thanking Spirit for giving you experiences to anchor in that feeling, to anchor in, because Spirit never thinks you don't deserve. That's not over on the docket. And I want to offer this too. If you think, I was talking to a client the other day, and there was this kind of dynamic where this person felt like their guides were tripping them up, setting them up to, not to fail, but kind of to fail. And I thought, that's not how it works. Our guides are here to support us and to lead us to our highest experience and vibration. And I don't think they do that in a way that says, let me push you over to see if you get up. So as we say to Spirit, thank you for giving me experiences that give me the vitality, the inspiration, and the courage to step up to what I want to experience on this planet, to what I want to enjoy. Oh, no way, Keegan. You didn't lower the energy. You can't do that. Harris, I want to say I am Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner. And what I do here on Sunday mornings is I facilitate Spirit's guidance for traversing the transits of the coming week. So Lotta is actually a Western tropical whole sign astrologer. She's about 30 years younger than I am. And while we both wear glasses, she's a lot cuter than me. I'm kidding. Okay, here we go. Well, I shouldn't say I'm kidding. I'm just older. So, all right, let's go on to our Leos. Ask for what you want, Jenny. Exactly. And then I think the only thing that you can do, I mean, if you want to take that to the deeper level, is as you're asking for what you want, if you can assess how much do I actually believe it can happen? How much am I hoping, and how much faith do I have? Because when I put my beam up, oh, look at that. There's Chantal, Angel of Romance. Very exciting. I say that because I do think love is in the air. But I want to say it this way, because as I have journeyed through this connection with Spirit, and I have, called forth for certain experiences, one of the things that I've been inspired to do is really look, what do I believe about it? What is the depths of my belief? And when I am in doubt, I always ask Spirit to give me an experience to anchor my belief, because your belief is how you manifest. You can do all day long, but it's the be, do, have. What do I believe? What's my attitude? What's my disposition as I endeavor my actions? Hi, Martina. Good to see you. All right, here we go. Chantal is the Angel of Romance. She's offering you romance, love, connection. Patrick, I want to say this. Don't have any judgment on whether you're having a hard time or an easy time. The idea that you're even sitting in contemplation of those things will help unravel whatever doubt, trepidation, concern you have. It's part of the journey, because as we sit in having a hard time and then we experience things beyond that, we're actually a better service to others, because then we have relatability to their challenges. Okay, here we go. I'm on to Leo, if I remember correctly. Leo, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Archangel Raphael. The second is Rosetta. The third is Xana. And the final is Merlina. No, Stephen, your mind will never, to imagine that your mind will not wander during meditation is to be out of the human experience. It's just a matter of being able to, it's kind of a metaphor, because as your mind wanders and you get annoyed by the leaf blower or the truck or the motorcycle or whatever is distracting to you, and then you pull your focus back into just your breath and just going through this ebb and this flow. And then this is really where the magic happens, because there's no resistance in the ebb and the flow. Oh, there goes my mind wandering back into my breath. And then in the most small moments, these epiphanies, these illuminations will come, and they're very powerful. And yet they're not powerful because they last a long time and they're in the journey of sight, but how they feel on the inside. So that's where I'm going. All right. Leo, Archangel Raphael is being joined by the frog. Rosetta is being joined by the restriction card. Xana is being joined by the birth and the rebirth card. And Marlena is being joined by the novice. Well, this is interesting because as I look at it, I feel like I'm looking at Leo, and inadvertently, Leo has been moving in a direction that I'm not sure is authentic to their truth. And it may be because we've been going through such challenging times that Leo may, at some point, and I feel like it's kind of recently, that you've been like going, okay, maybe I need to rethink things and move towards things that are a little bit more realistic. Oops, don't do that. Archangel Raphael is the angel of healing. And then there's the frog. And I have to say, there's the epiphany right here. And I do think this is about cleaning my house. But I feel like for Leo, there's a moment here that you get to take and reassess, because here I have now, I know that this represents children, but what I'm talking about is the inner child, because I feel like this restriction card is asking you in some ways to stop for a minute and ask yourself twice, is this what I really want? Is this where I want to move? Is this the direction I want to go? Because you're being offered a new beginning, and you're also being protected from whatever this restriction offers you. Let me put it this way. You know, with the world changing the way it has, with the working from home, with the, you know, we hear so much input of imbalance going on right now. So I feel like there's the potential that Leo at this moment has been starting to calculate their life from a position of looking at what's on the chessboard. And I feel like, okay, that's fair, but don't throw your baby out with the bathwater, because there is a new beginning being offered. It's an unstable new beginning, and there's not enough information for you. And I want to offer it this way, because I don't know what the subject matter is. Let me pull a card. The subject matter for Leo is really rewriting your history and starting to tell a new story. And I want to offer it this way, because again, this whole last 2 years has been about, in some ways, opening the door, putting a light on what has not been truly serving us, where we've been on this hamster wheel, and then moving past it. I have been feeling more and more that we need to pay attention to the idea that the sun rules Leo, and the sun rules children, romance, you know, our personal hobbies, our own creative genius. It's a very warm, fun house, the fifth house. And I feel like as I say fifth house, it's even about the independence and freedom that the number 5 offers me. And here's the novice offering me a new beginning. So I want to say now that I feel like Leo has an opportunity to have an epiphany and really to look at, how have I been walking through my life? Have I been walking through it I feel a little bit challenged because I want to put it one way, but I feel like it's fluid. So have I been walking through it authentically? Yeah, I have been. But at the same time, the landscape hasn't been quite as clear as I like it to be. So I've had to maneuver around things or do things or purport certain dynamics that really weren't true or authentic, but yet they're going to lead me back to where I needed to go. I hope that makes sense. Because somehow I almost feel like when I look at Leo, I'm driving down the road, I take a right-hand turn, I've gone down the wrong street, I go, oh boy, I went down the wrong street, I come back around, I get back on the road again, and I'm going where I need to go. And that's why I feel like I'm having an epiphany that is actually shifting where I'm going, and I'm paying attention a little bit deeper as to what's truly important to me. what is truly important to what I want. And in doing so, I know that Spirit's got my back because it's time to implement a new beginning. And the new beginning is not necessarily a sure one, but it requires my consciousness. And the consciousness is not of my old story, but of the new story that I'm telling, the enchantment of storytelling. All right, there we go. Let's go on to Cancer. All right, here we go. Cancer, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Into the light. I would look at, when you're asking if it applies to the Cancer cusp, I feel like there's a part of us that has to look at our chart and intuit some of the dynamics, because I don't know what's around your cusp. I don't know what planets are circling. I don't know what house your Cancer cusp line is on. So if you look at that, that will give you clues. Okay. The thing about meditation is I really think that the human has made it something that there's a destination, and the destination is to quiet the mind. And people, you ain't going to quiet your mind. You're not going to stop your heart from beating, your liver from detoxing, your gallbladder from doing what it needs to do. There are certain things that run on automatic pilot. So when you're meditating, to try to quiet your mind is a little bit counterintuitive. It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. And you want your breath to lead the rhythm. And then you'll veer off, and you'll be, oh, I'm veering off. And then you'll come back. And you're breathing in the breath of life. And then the little moments will come in. All right, here we go. Cancer, our first angel is Athena. The second is Akasha. The third is Omega. And the final is Ray. Thank you, Golden Lifestyle Unlimited. Welcome to our show. Hi, Pedro. Nice to see you. Welcome. All right. We have Athena being joined by the Disruption card. We have Akasha being joined by the Restriction card. We have Omega being joined by the Love card, the dog. And then we have Ray being joined by the Fire Fairy. So for my Cancers, Athena is about lovingly asserting yourself. It's about knowing that as I lovingly assert myself, I'm actually benefiting others. And then I have the Disruption card. And when I see this, the first thing I felt like is that Cancers could potentially have a dynamic that they feel other people may not agree with. And so as they contemplate moving forward, they also are contemplating other people not being in alignment with them. And I want to offer it this way, because as you focus in, Cancer is the sign of family, of the nurturing female energy, the mother energy. And so whether or not you actually hold that position, you'll be predisposed to think of the whole as you endeavor through your life. And so when you contemplate other people not resonating with what you're saying, you may feel a push-pull between what they respond to and what you want in your heart. And I want to offer it this way, because this Restriction card now does not feel like it's holding me back, but rather an opportunity for me to take a pause. And if I take that pause, I actually have an opportunity not only to learn something, but to teach something. And that teaching comes from the idea that love The dog, unconditional love, loyalty, and sincerity, and there's the victory. And I want to offer it this way because as Cancer lovingly asserts themselves to what they want versus what they have experienced, they offer others an opportunity to sit in the moon's energy. The moon is all about my intuition. It's not what I can see in the light of day with the sun. It's about what I feel in the moonlight. And you know what? We talk a lot about moonlight being very romantic. And I feel like that's part of the story is what do you love? And allowing for that, because as you connect with spirit and your real power, what Athena offers you is your willingness to gently, lovingly speak to spirit through your heart and to hold the fire of inspiration. And when I say that, hold the fire of inspiration, I mean it in such a way that it's like almost in a motherly energy. Sometimes the mother must know things the child doesn't know and has to give a space for that child to have an experience to know that mom is the wise one. So in this respect, I feel like it's the bigger picture of that feminine energy of reception, of the inner knowing. So as I assert myself that direction, which may feel disruptive because I'm not taking physical action to do something, but rather I'm holding back and I'm giving spirit an opportunity to inspire my next action. And this is where I not only learn, but I become the teacher. And I become the teacher in a way that brings a loving experience in all its genres, okay? Not just in the intimate love, but all the genres. I'm victorious and I'm inspired. I'm inspired into more creativity, and I'm inspired in my connection to spirit being a very tangible and foundational aspect to my life. Okay, let's go on to our Geminis. Oh boy, okay. CJ, are you asking that question to me or to Corolla? Oh, Corolla. I got what Corolla is now. Okay, I got it. Are you asking me that question? I'm not clear if you're asking the audience or the chat. All right, here we go, Gemini. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Into the light, spirit is always listening to you. Always, even when you're not talking. All right, here we go. Okay, CJ, awesome. Here we go. This is for Gemini, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right, our first angel is Archangel Gabriel. The second is Rochelle. The third is Ray. And the final is Patience. Ooh, I got chills everywhere. Oops. Archangel Gabriel is being joined by the Earth Fairy. Rochelle's being joined by the Serpent. Ray's being joined by the Fire Fairy. And Patience is being joined by the Risk card. You know, the first thing I saw when I saw Archangel Gabriel for Gemini was I saw community. I didn't see communications as much. I saw people. I saw my everyday life. I saw my everyday activities. And then I see the Earth Fairy. And I feel like there's a potential here that Gemini is going to experience. You know, we have Mercury moving into Pisces tomorrow. And I feel almost as if there's an opportunity for my Geminis. Here we are in the West going into the spring. And I get this feeling of new community, new people, new friends, new dynamics being offered to you. And I say that because the Earth Fairy talks about physical health. And I'm not relating to the physical health right now. I feel like I'm relating to wanting to have a more solid friend base. That's kind of how I'm putting it. I feel like here we are. Gemini represents the third house of teammates, workmates, groups in general, represents, learning in school age learning as far as grammar school and that kind of thing. And I'm really resonating with the sun coming out, wanting to get out, be around people, do things around people. Because in the opportunity or the obstacle, I have Rochelle saying to honor and follow the guidance of your heart. And then here's the serpent about knowledge and healing. And I don't think it's about healing. I think it's about shedding a skin, like the winter skin, and allowing yourself to Gemini is the twins. You get a little bit back and forth. So I feel like this is about trusting the higher vibrations of what you're hearing within your head, because I think Spirit is offering you an opportunity to start to feel inspired. And I say that in such a way where it's like the sun is coming out again, the flowers are all starting to bloom, and now it's time to allow Gemini to bloom. And I can't help but think of Small Wildflowers, knowing she's got that Gemini influence, and saying to myself, I know that you've lost a friend, but maybe you haven't lost a friend. Maybe she's just transformed from one earth plane to something much more powerful in that respect. And so opening up our friend circle, this is where I'm going with Gemini for some reason. And I feel like Spirit is very much asking you to be more willing to be an explorer in your own life, because the Patience card is about having faith. Well, I should say it this way. It's a time to learn and study and gather information, because you will soon synthesize that. And there's the Risk card. And to me, this is more a little bit about risking new things, risking putting myself in new situations, new environments, opening my mind up to new things that are more aligned to the deeper part of what I want. When I think of Pisces and I think of Neptune from its highest vibrations, what kind of I want spiritual friends. I want people, if I talk to about astrology, they don't think I have horns growing out of my ears. And I know that we get to meet here on Sunday, but I'm feeling like for Gemini, you want to see this in your everyday activities. You want more of this swirling around you. So I want to offer it this way. I believe that the last few years has opened up our minds in ways we could not have fathomed before. And there may be still some very earthbound people, but overall, I think that we're starting to see lights being activated around the world. And those light workers that are starting to claim themselves. So as you claim yourself and you activate your light, I want you to start to think of it, Gemini, as that light is a beacon for others to see you and bring together connectedness in a way that makes you feel truly inspired, truly supported, truly seen. That's the way I want to put it. Because I think that's the age of Aquarius. And our job is to stand not into the old dynamic, but allow ourselves to move as we've contracted to be part of that activation. Sometimes when I see it, it's like the universe takes me above the planet, and I just see all these lights coming on in all these different countries. And as I do, I just got chills everywhere. It's almost like they're dancing. It's like a blink, 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 blink. And it's like, it feels a very excited energy for me. So while we've been going through this sort of like, Spirit's been trying to go and turn flip all the switches for us to get activated. And now here we go. All right. There's a book called The Shack. And a movie was made a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago now. And I really love the end of it because it's a spiritual movie. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's about a character who meets God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit as a result of a challenging experience that this person has gone through. And at the end, there's a scene where it shows all the souls from heaven. And it's so beautiful because they're all different colors vibrating at a different rate. So there's this individuality and yet the same sort of connectedness between it all. And that's what I kind of feel is going on here for Gemini and for all of us. All right, let's go on to Taurus. Get this show on the road. Here we go. Taurus, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oop. Our first angel for Taurus is Celeste. Then we have Rosetta. Then we have Isaiah. And we have Vanessa. Very exciting. I don't know where Uranus is right now, but I know it's like somewhere around 7, 8 degrees, 9 degrees. If it's 9 now, it's on my moon. And it's activating a trine. Taurus is, I love Taurus. I have to say, I do. I mean, I love being a Taurus moon. When I found out Lucky had Jupiter and Venus in Taurus, I just laughed so much. I called Juan on the phone, told him all about it. He's like, Teri, you're so weird. He didn't say that. I inferred it. He would never say that. He might think it. All right, Taurus. Celeste is being joined by the Raven. Wow. Rosetta is being joined by the Risk card. Isaiah is being joined by the Earth Fairy. And Vanessa is being joined by the Wealth card. I got to tell you straight up, I think that this has something to do with actual work. You know, sometimes when we're talking to so many potential people, I mean, we've got 100 people now in the room approximately, and yet there could be thousands of people that watch the video. And I want to say this because I really feel like for Taurus, a happy move is coming. And Celeste will talk about a move to a new home or a new place of employment. And that could very well be, because here's the Raven, which is about timing. And I do believe that Taurus is going through some Uranian energies that are either forcing them or inspiring them, depending upon where you are vibrationally, into taking on new dynamics within your life that are much more aligned to what you want to experience. And for some reason, I'm really resonating to the idea that you're either contemplating new job, new industries, new endeavors that are making you thank you into the light. I appreciate you doing that for me. I really feel like this is an opportunity to really think about where you want to plant yourself. You know, and when I say plant yourself, when you think about what you do for a living, what you do for work, it is as important, if not in some ways more important, because you spend more time there than you do at home. And even if you're working from home, because I believe that what Rosetta is saying for Taurus is it's time to risk listening to that inner child. It's time to start to listen to what truly brings you joy so that you can live within that dynamic. I almost want to say every day, because Isaiah is offering you a new beginning, and this is a whole new foundation. You are an earth sign. You represent so many things that are of this earth. Great food, great, you know, I feel like when I walk into a Taurus home, I walk into a home that is inviting and welcoming and says, have a seat for a while. And now it's time to make sure, Taurus, that you're enjoying all of that. It's time. The angels are saying, we're going to protect you as you take and risk loving on yourself in a way that you start to implement. I want this. I want that. And I mean in the material world. So let me offer it this way, because I think that as you contemplate a new job, a new place of employment, that it's not about your wallet anymore, but about your growth to support the longer version of what you want. Because this new job, this new opportunity that I truly believe is coming for Taurus is going to bring harmonious wealth based on what you've always wanted. Vanessa's about faith or fear and asking you to take actions based on faith. And this faith is really, I have a client who's not a Taurus, but she recently brought a new job opportunity in. And it's kind of interesting because when I was talking to her, she was very nonchalant about this really good opportunity. She herself cannot explain why she was so nonchalant about it. She literally went through like 6 interviews, and each one she was like, whatever. And ultimately she got offered the job, and she got offered more money than she expected. She got offered an opportunity, not just for work, but to feel the embracing of this team of people who interviewed her. So my point is this, Taurus. I feel like as you step into a vibration of what do I enjoy? What do I want? How do I see myself enjoying my work day? Then in many ways you will draw in, if you haven't already, an opportunity. And as you walk through this opportunity, it's part of your job is to assess if it's really lined up to what you want. If it's not, you're going to have to risk saying no. But if it is, you're going to have to risk saying yes without getting so invested that it then pulls you into an energy where you suddenly feel vulnerable to the opportunity instead of influential over the opportunity or at cause of the opportunity. When I think about this, because I feel like I'm supposed to pay attention to this as well. And I'm not looking for a new job. I have a job. I have my job. But what I see is an opportunity to look at what I do for a living and really assess how I do it. Because for a long time, I thought, I want to be big. I think of Lotta as being very influential. We know she's got over 250,000 people that subscribe to her channel. And for a long time, that's what I thought. I wanted that big number. And then I realized that I don't care about the number. I don't care about the number anymore. I only care about the idea that I enjoy what I'm doing and the people who hear me resonate and enjoy. So that's where I'm going with this. There's some sort of shift coming for Taurus, where what you do to secure your physical experience will be much more aligned to what sings inside of your heart. And part of that is your willingness to be brave beyond what you can see with your eyes. Be more willing to listen to that inner voice that says, if you can dream it, you can be it. All right, on to our final sign. Exactly, CJD. It's quality over quantity. Thank you, Deanie. I love all you guys too. Gotta tell you, truly. Aries, here we go. I have to say, I get this image of myself, and I have no idea why on this day, but I picture myself in grammar school. And I used to live with my grandparents growing up, and we were in the front yard. My grandmother was studying astrology, and they were talking about Libras being so indecisive. And I'm sitting there going, what? I'm a Libra. I'm not indecisive. I didn't know I was an Aries rising. My grandmother, she didn't explain the nuances to me. And so as I've grown to understand my chart, it makes perfect sense why I am the way I am. Didn't say it was perfect, just perfect sense. All right, here we go. Aries, rising sun, moon, and stelliums, my little spiritual warriors. All right. Our first angel for Aries is Rosetta. The second is Isabella. The third is Maya. And the final is Layla. Thank you, Keegan. Me and all my personalities love all you guys right back. Christy, your daughter's moving in with you. Wow. Good luck on that. Adult children moving home. I have Chiron not Chiron, I actually have my South Node in Aries. Patrick, are you wondering why I said spiritual warrior about Aries? I believe that is the essence of who they are. All right, Rosetta's being joined by the love card. Isabella's being joined by the mystery. Maya's being joined by the novice. And Layla's being joined by the Lady of the Lake. Okay, this is going to sound a little funky, but when I first pulled Rosetta, the first thing I thought was, years ago, I'm an Aries rising, so I could be a little bit direct. Is that a nice word to say? And in my youth, my directness was a little bit harsh, okay? And I didn't care whether you liked it or didn't like it because I was right. That's the way I thought about it. And as I've gotten older, I realized me being right was not necessarily the most important thing, but did I want to be heard or did I want to be right? And I decided through a series of experiences that maybe it was better to be heard than it was to be right. So this is where I'm going with my spiritual warriors. I feel like there's the potential that you will see things very clearly moving forward, and you get to decide when you're communicating with others how you want them to experience you. Because I feel like you can say the exact same thing you want to say, but if you actually think about it a little bit before you go into your directness, you may make it more palatable for the others to hear. Because now I think it's time to truly express your truth, but from a way that is not about lobbing somebody's head off. It's more about bringing them with you. I work in a dynamic where more times than not, we talk about the readings. I don't think they're predictions. I think what I see is momentum, energetic momentum. And when someone's momentum is not serving what they want to experience, my job is to be able to tell them the truth, but without alienating them or making them feel judged. And this is where I'm going with Aries. Because I think in the opportunity, the obstacle, yes, the timing is right for you to take your position of leadership. And that leadership now comes from inspiring others. When you think about Aries represents inspiration, courage, pioneering. It often represents something that is an idea, but not the fruition. It's not the manifestation of the idea. It's the journey of the idea. So as Aries realizes that you're on a new journey. You're learning so much about a skill that you have, about being a spiritual warrior, standing in a place where I'm willing to, I think of the Knights Templar, in their original mission, it was to allow people pilgrimage to worship in the way they wanted to. And I feel like that's what Aries has to offer now, is the timing is right for you to take your position of leadership. But this leadership doesn't come from a hard hand. It comes from being more loving in some ways as you express the truth that may be hard to hear. Because Layla is asking you to, oftentimes Layla will talk about meditating and talking to spirit about what you want, your desires and your intentions. But now I think Aries is representing spirit. And as you represent spirit and your desire and intention is to bring balance to this world, will you do it with a hard hand? Will that serve you? Or is that the very hand you don't like to receive? So when we think about how, one of the things that resonated with me in my journey to become who I am was, how do I respond to criticism? How do I respond to people when they say things to me? And what I realized is I respond very favorably to constructive criticism. I do not respond very favorably to judgment. Aries, I feel like Spirit is asking you to think about how you're expressing yourself and not to dumb it down, but just to really think about how would you like to hear what you're saying. Simple. And if you can say your truth in a way that feels like you're saying it lovingly without judgment, then let it fly. It's up to the other person then to filter it. Because this isn't really about them, it's about you. And it's about how you express yourself so you can be authentic to yourself without feeling like an asshole. That's kind of how I want to put it. Because oftentimes, Aries, oh, you're a warrior. You just want to fight with everybody. You're hostile. You're angry. That's BS. I think that Aries is hostile and angry when somebody's trying to shove a big chunk of crap down their throat that isn't true. So they spit it back out. I'm just saying. I think that's it for me, guys, for this week. I didn't see too much big happening in the stars as far as all that goes. Oh, girlish, thank you so much. Happy birthday from India. Oh, it's Gurish. I'm not saying it right. Moon and Aquarius, thank you so much. And I think it was Kate earlier. I want to thank you for your love and support through the chat. I really appreciate that. I just want to say this for this coming week, you guys. I feel as if as you walk through this week, kind of, this is little Gandhi, okay? Be the change that you want to see. And as you do, I want you to know that Spirit is supporting you and your dreams are coming to fruition. And part of those dreams come, whether we realize it or not, oftentimes as a soul, we will be talking to God and the angels and we're like, I know I'm going to not know stuff. I know I'm going to live in a little bit of fear, but I also know I'm going to blow out the other side of that and I'm going to be empowered. And then we come under the veil and we get in that dark spot and we're like, God damn it. Why is this happening to me? So this is where I'm going with this. It's happening because when you're in that dark spot, you are really, truly headed into the light. So here we go. All right, that's it for this week, everybody. Sending tons of love to you all. May you have a wonderful week. May you walk through it intentionally. May Spirit guide you and support you as you step closer and closer to your dreams. And thank you, Catherine McDonald from Scotland, my father's native country. Sending lots of love to you. It's me, Teri Hunter, Angel Therapy Practitioner. If you'd like to get a personal reading with me, you can go to Lotta's website and look for me under the readers menu. I will be back next Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time with more messages from your angels for traversing the transit. Have a great week, everybody. Peace.